senior at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. I'm an instrument-rated private pilot, and to say I'm honored to be a finalist for this scholarship would be quite the understatement. I Hart Flying Foundation is such a respectable foundation. I love how the core of their foundation is to get more women involved in aviation. They offer scholarships, they're always empowering women on social media, and as women, I think it is very important for us to be there to empower each other, to encourage each other, lift each other up, and to just support each other. This industry is very much dominated by males, and we need to be there for each other. Outreach and getting more women involved in aviation is very important to me. I'm currently a research assistant for Dr. Rebecca Ludi. We are working on a project sponsored by the NASA Nebraska Space Grant, and we are researching diversity in aviation. We've been researching different scholarships and outreach programs for both women and other minorities in the industry. What sets me apart from other applicants is all of the outreach I've done to get more women and girls involved in aviation. I'm the president of my local Women in Aviation chapter, and I have helped plan for Girls in Aviation Day. We actually had about 30 girls in this hangar last week for our annual Girls in Aviation Day. It was the largest one we have had yet. I've also talked with several Girl Scout groups. The first time I talked to a Girl Scout group, I told them that only 6% of pilots are females, and they told me that they want to help change that one day. And they were so determined to do that they all signed up for their very first Young Eagles flight through EAA. And when I heard that news, I couldn't help but start tearing up a little bit that I could have that effect on the younger generation. One of the hardest goals that I ended up obtaining was my private pilot's license. My private pilot training was unique, to say the least. I experienced something most pilots never experience in their careers, and I experienced it at 28 hours on my very first solo cross country. On my first solo cross country, I had an engine failure and had to put the plane down in a cornfield. The plane had minimal damage, and it's still up flying today, but that was a giant obstacle in my training and still can be. I ended up passing my private pilot check ride. I went on and got instrument rated, and a few months ago I took my very first aerobatics flight. I did that because I didn't want to be afraid of flying. I wanted to learn how to get out of any attitude I could get myself into. I also ended up taking my very first glider flight. That terrified me a lot, flying something without an engine at all, but I knew I needed to so that it wouldn't be an obstacle in my training anymore. I think I should be considered for this scholarship due to my work ethic. I got my first job at 12 years old walking cornfields, and I continued to walk cornfields to tasking corn for the following 9 summers. I put all of the money I made in a savings account that I did not touch until I started my private pilot training as a freshman in college. I currently work 3 jobs in order to pay for my flight training. I work as a customer service gate and ramp agent for Frontier Airlines. I work in the NASA Nebraska Space Grant office, and I still work in the cornfields over the summers. A little background about me is I actually wanted to go the military route in aviation. I knew I wanted to be a pilot ever since the first military air show I went to when I was really young. I remember seeing a C-17 there, and I couldn't fathom how a plane of that size could fly. And all throughout high school, I worked really hard to try to get a Air Force ROTC scholarship. I maintained a 4.0 GPA. I was a varsity athlete in 3 sports, and I ended up getting the scholarship, and I was in Air Force ROTC for my freshman year, but then I was crushed by the news that I had been medically disqualified. So then I decided to look into the civilian world of flying. I ended up passing my first class FAA medical, and I started my flight training. And not having that ROTC scholarship was quite the burden. I didn't apply for any scholarships in high school because I thought I had my entire life planned out in front of me. I thought I had a full ride scholarship and wouldn't have to worry about paying for college. So this scholarship would help me tremendously with the financial burden. It will help me get my CFI, and I hope to complete that by May. I want to be a flight instructor for several reasons. I learned a lot of lessons from my engine failure. I want to help teach students. I want to teach them the importance of staying vigilant during flights, because you never know what you learn in a ground or flight lesson when that information can save your life or future passengers' lives.